Welcome to Smells Like Potential, the rewatch podcast you didn't know you needed. Jamie tries to adjust to life post reality show, while Roy finds success with Sky Sports News. Ted also tries to woo Sharon into friendship to get over his discomfort having a full time therapist on staff. But Higgins continues to be without an office. And PB&J posted a photo on Twitter that upsets the team.
Yes, and about that, how do you feel about Jamie's return at the end of the episode? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Oh, solid thumbs down for me. I really disliked seeing the team's reaction when Jamie walked out onto the field. It felt like Ted did not talk with the team. He had to make a decision. I know Jamie was really struggling. We saw him on the talk show, and then we saw him go into his agent's office. And there was a lot of disrespect happening to Jamie on the talk show and in the agent's office. So, Ted, being Ted, was looking at the entire picture. I still don't know that he talked to the team about that decision. What about
Yeah.
you? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
I remember in the moment, like you, I was very upset by it. I thought it was disrespectful to the whole team and also particularly to Sam. He had that whole conversation with Sam. He made Sam feel bad because he jumped to conclusions and then he went ahead and changed his mind. Now, it also was said that he changed his mind in part because he remembered that Sam had a good dad and he had a good dad, but Jamie didn't. Clearly, Jamie is dealing still with a tough dad, as he describes him. I would have felt better if he had pulled Sam aside or talked to the team. It's a very Ted thing to do, to say, hey, I don't want to do something that's going to make you all feel uncomfortable. I can see narratively why the writers did it. They're building an arc towards Nate's journey. They're building an arc about father and daddy issues. And all of that plays into Jamie's return. It really wouldn't be the show that it is in season two without that. It really does feel like the downer movie in the middle of a trilogy. I don't know, like Empire Strikes Back, where the hero gets frozen in carbonite and the main hero loses his hand. And turns out that the bad guy's his dad. So a lot of daddy issues. It lines up with Empire Strikes Back. And one other Star Wars reference, when Jamie walks out on the field, it's snowing, just like at the beginning of Empire Strikes Back on Hoth. And I'll put Star Wars away for now, but I'm just saying it's Empire.
Just gonna tuck that right back into your pocket.
Yeah, yeah. And there was a big piece of the episode dedicated to this whole debate back and forth. It's when Jamie finds Ted at the bar and he says, that was a real roller coaster. I'm glad I was tall enough to join you on that ride. But that's really the only funny moment in that scene. It's a heavy conversation. And May comes in unsolicited and gives her opinion that Richmond needs Jamie. She gives him a wink. She's clearly a Jamie fan. Ted asks him, why did you go on that reality show? And finally, after some hedging, Jamie admits, I did it to piss off my dad. That really, I think, is why the writers wanted to see this arc. Ted cannot resist the opportunity to help someone that didn't have a positive father experience. But he says in this moment, to his credit, he says, I don't think it's a good idea. That's, I think, a factor. He does say a little bit about his own dad. Ted reveals that his dad was harder on himself than he was on Ted.
One thing that I thought was interesting is the team was having a bit of fighting on the field during training because of that photo that was posted on Twitter with Jamie and Ted sharing a drink. And Ted says the team is extra spicy like peri peri sauce. And in season 3, we get Nando's as an actual sponsor. So the marketing team for Ted Lasso, either through Apple TV or the parent company, treated AFC Richmond like an actual EPL team.
Oh, yeah.
They
There
had
was a
legitimate marketing happening and real sponsors coming in.
Yeah, there was a video I spotted on Instagram that breaks down from a marketing perspective just how much coverage the fake AFC Richmond team earned in its 3-season run. It's kind of astonishing. I loved the Shakespeare reference. A lot of people might have missed it. Nate asked if Beard had slept in the office, and he's already answered that when Ted asked him the same question. So for the audience, it would have been redundant. So I thought they did something fun here, and he said, perchance to dream here, which is, of course, a reference to Hamlet's famous, one of the most famous soliloquies of all time, about to sleep, perchance to dream. And Hamlet is, as you pointed out, a daddy issue play. right? He's dealing with the death of his father. And what does he do? Does he step up? Does he challenge his uncle? And all of that debate back and forth ultimately boils down to some daddy issues.
Are you ready for a deep cut?
Yes, hit me.
So, Perchance to Dream is a Twilight Zone episode from season 1. So, Twilight Zone season 1, not Ted Lasso season 1. And in the Twilight Zone episode, the main character goes to see a psychiatrist because he's having nightmares about being scared to death.
Mm.
One of those nightmares includes a roller coaster, and we have a reference to a roller coaster in this episode. The main character in the Twilight Zone has a heart condition, so he's trying to stay awake to avoid dreaming, and in a panic, he jumps out a window.
Mm.
So, what were the writers trying to give us advanced knowledge of with this simple quote that could be Hamlet and Twilight Zone,
We've got a psychiatrist working in Leslie's old office. Wow, that is truly a deep cut. If they planned that, I mean, wow.
right?
So
I don't
wanting to get,
I give the writers a lot of credit. Nothing goes wasted.
yeah, yeah, I agree. Did we have any new faces this episode?
We do. So Miss Bowen, it's actually her second appearance on screen, and she gets more than one line this time as Phoebe's soccer team loses their championship. Roy was really excited about getting that cup for the West London under 9 girls.
Yeah.
Uh, but Miss Bowen makes a really interesting point about she never minded the swearing as long as I knew the coach cared. I think that speaks to what's going to be happening for the rest of the season as well for coaching skills and caring for the people around you.
Yeah, and there's a parallel to his own pundit career because he gets a note that they loved him on the show. There was a slight issue with his language, but they really want him to come back. Do I sense a little bit of flirting going on? Maybe some energy between the two of them?
Maybe mostly on her side at this moment.
Yeah, and she doesn't seem to be overawed by him like many of the other people we see react to Roy. I have a new face, but it's not a face that we see. There is a mention of a Twitter account about Ted's mustache. So I looked it up, and yes, indeed, there was one that was begun, and it's Ted's mustache in July of 2020. So kudos to them for grabbing it. It doesn't have any posts, so it's possible they deleted them. But there was another one that was started in July of 2021. I suspect right when this episode came out, somebody went and grabbed it. But it's pretty funny that he has that fourth wall break and references the fact that there's actually a Twitter account about his mustache.
Right. And this character doesn't show up yet, but we hear about Laughing Liam, and Rebecca and Higgins do an impression of Laughing Liam. This will actually pay off later. So for now, first reference to Laughing Liam, we'll meet him again.
And kudos to you. I forgot that happens. I wanted to introduce a new segment about the hero's journey, but I feel like we could call this season the villain's journey because we get to see Nate continue to progress in his controlling and dominating space that he's occupying as an assistant coach. And it's really largely being taken out on Will, the kit man that replaced him. Will uses lavender when he's cleaning the towels, and Nate berates him about that. He walks away from him and shuts two doors on the way, forcing Will to knock first and then open each door, which again is about control and domination. It's demeaning and unfair to Will. Later, when they're having a Diamond Dogs conversation and they're talking about Jamie's return, he's in the middle of saying, yes, he's a great player. Yes, he scores a lot of goal, but it's not really healthy for the team to have someone there that's going to be belittling everyone. Then he interrupts himself to belittle Will for doing something wrong in the other room and fails to catch the opportunity for self awareness. So it's just another step on that move to the dark side for Nate.
And we have a couple of books that are referenced. Ted meets with Sharon and wants to try to build that relationship, and he asks, "What's your favorite book?" Sharon says, "Prince of Tides" by Pat Conway. If you know the plot, this is about a football coach with an abusive childhood that falls in love with a psychiatrist. A little too
Wow.
on the nose, I think. How about Ted? What was his favorite book?
So Ted threw it out there before she could even realize he was trying to start a conversation. He said, "This one's a bit of a curveball." The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand. It's a 1943 novel. It's believed to be the foundation or the basis for libertarianism and to some degree conservatism. So it seems very outside of the realm of Ted, who loves everyone and believes in teamwork and collaboration. This book is about individualism and conformity. Some of what Reddit had to say was perhaps it was his dad's favorite. So it's yet another example of clinging to your father or daddy issues. It could also be that the main character is absolutely committed to following his passions, regardless of others that try to stop him. So that could be something that appeals to Ted. Or it could be something as silly as he liked the cover when he was in high school, and that's why he picked it as his favorite book and he's never revisited it or the deeper meaning of the book. How about you? What's your favorite book?
I cannot choose. I might be able to choose within a genre, but to say just one book was really, really difficult for me. So I think I'm just going to give you the opening line and see if you know this one. It is "The man in black fled across the desert, and the gunslinger followed."
So, of course, I'm thinking Johnny Cash or the Dread Pirate Roberts from Princess Bride. But I have to say, I don't know. So, do we just let the audience wonder or look it up themselves, or will you're going to release the tension and tell us?
If I say Stephen King, does that help?
Oh, The Stand.
Hey, that would be a great guess.
Okay.
That I have read The Stand probably 7 times in my life. This is the other series from Stephen King that I love, The Dark Tower,
Oh, that's
The
right.
Gunslinger. So that is the opening line to the Dark Tower series. I started reading when I was probably 10. My dad was also a Stephen King fan, so books were all over the house. If you're like, "Why are you reading this at 10?" I was reading everything in the house. And, it took, like, 30 years for the series to finish, and I was all the way in every single time. I still have not seen the movie.
Wow. Okay. I
Mhm.
didn't even know there was a movie. For me, it was my mom that loved Stephen King, and I tried to get into it, and I made the poor choice of starting to read Cujo, and I think I was 10 years old, and I never got back to Stephen King.
You should have started with The Eyes of the Dragon.
Okay. All right. For me, my favorite book is a tie. I love Frankenstein. It is the first science fiction novel. It's almost one of the first novels. It's sort of a new form when Mary Shelley writes it. I love the fact that she's 19 and a woman writing it when she did. And she's the only one of the three people that were challenged to write a ghost story among her husband, Percy Shelley, who's a established poet, and Lord Byron, who's a legit poet and author. So the fact that of the three of them had this fun evening spooky game with a thunderstorm outside, she's the only one that followed through on it. And it's an extraordinary novel for many ways. I've taught it. And Ender's Game. Ender's Game is actually a book scene in Ted Lasso. It's one of the books given to Sam. It makes sense because it's about a young boy who discovers he needs to lead and that he's got a special ability that others do not. I just love the book and I've taught it as well. It's an amazing science fiction book. So, yes, two books that are both science fiction.
Now, we do have a season 4 suggestion box.
Yes, we do. And it's from Marnie Stockman, a friend of mine who may actually be a guest on this podcast coming soon. Spoiler. Season 4 should include Easter eggs of all the podcasters and authors and social media folks who have continued the love of the show. She says selfishly for us. I love that. That's fantastic. I'm willing to go. I can send in a photo. We could fly to England and sit in the background of a shot in Richmond. I can go to Kansas City even. They did some shots in Kansas City. So
Right? Happy to be in the background of any episode.
I love that for us. Thank you, Marnie. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you tomorrow for our reaction to season 2, episode 3, Do the Rightest Thing. And our outro quote for this episode: sometimes having a tough dad is exactly what drives certain fellas to become great at what they do.